Fancy seeing you here. Lysis dedicated his entire life to the revival of Kavaris. He spent every waking moment trudging through snow and ice to find out what happened. The rapid and violent change that took place in the environment during that war with Dark Falls. He left vast amounts of data in the Lodge study and the Lost Central terminals. At the Lost Central especially, in addition to files about the current state of the city, there were also plans for how to get it up and running again. To restore it to its former glory as the original Central City, and not just Lost Central. My guess is that Ilma and the others will carry the torch for Lysis now. But there's no telling how long it might take them. And one other thing. There was data regarding Central Cannon in Lysis's report too. Kavaris arcs also used the cannon to repel the Dark Falls invasion. The records indicate that nearly 100% of the output capacity and stability have been preserved. That incomplete file about the Central Cannon that was in the study, Ilma finding that is how this all got started. When he shared the report with Crawford to get his thoughts on it, he also started trying to see if he could research it himself. And in the process, he realized that there was still more data to be found in Lost Central. You know the rest of the story. Now that we have all of the data, we should be able to make progress towards restoring Central Cannon. Lysis really did put his heart and soul into building a better future for everyone. Yeah, you will. Everyone is giving it their all. Not just for themselves, but for everyone. I've met so many amazing people while traveling with you two. They all have that in common, even if their circumstances might be different. How else can I help the people of Alpha? That's what I'm working on figuring out. I had a feeling you might come. You always creep up on me at times like this. Let me guess. You're interested in that place too? Yeah. Lysis also mentioned this place in his report. The people of Kavaris gave Belladonna Ruins its name. They refurbished the large ruins that were already here and turned them into a habitable place. Its population is on the order of Lost Centrals. It was considered second only to the first Central City. And then, 100 years ago, it turned back into ruins again. Kavaris' technical proficiency at the time was far superior to Avia or Retem's. They used to make vehicles that would be considered advanced, even by today's standards. They poured out all that ingenuity into their fight against the dolls. The weapons and manufacturing techniques they came up with made them quite formidable. But even with that, they couldn't withstand the dolls' onslaught. They ended up almost completely wiped out. The reason was that their Arc's defenders were subpar. They relied too much on their superior weaponry and didn't develop their fighting abilities. The foundation of every Arc's defender is photons. No matter how powerful the weapon, without ammo or energy, it's worthless. In the end, all you can really rely on is your own photons, and your ability to wield them. The Cavaris Ark's defenders weren't able to do that, and so they lost. Or at least that was the gist of the information found in Lysis's data. I only got to see some of the documents, but from what I saw, he mentioned the war often. Not only was he passionate about his research, but he was an excellent Ark's defender. At a basic level, all Ark's defenders need to excel in both martial and scientific pursuits. On that point, it's pretty similar to how Retem's Ark's defenders think. Neither Aelio nor Retem have anything like the technology that Cavaris had at the time. But even if they did, they wouldn't have the capacity to produce it in mass. So they have to make do with the weaponry that they have. Which means that each Ark's defender has to actually know how to fight. There simply isn't any other choice.
Glad to see you. I was just wrapping up a few central canon details. Thanks to the data Ilma sent, I've been able to ferret out all manner of technical problems. And it's all thanks to the three of you. My sincerest thanks. That's true. He often understands things in ways I hadn't thought of. He certainly is a fine engineer. How I met Ilma is kind of a funny story. One day, I saw that some anonymous comments had been made on data I'd uploaded to the library. The comments described errors in my work in meticulous detail. Incredulous, I re-examined my data, and sure enough, the commenter was right. Wondering who I was dealing with, I looked up the address. It had come from Cavaris. That immediately made me think of one person, of course. But I knew that Lysis, whom I had been in communications with before, had passed away. I contacted the lodge, and it was Ilma who answered. He told me that his mechanical skills were entirely self-taught. His free-spirited approach to problems was refreshing to me. I've been asking his advice on a variety of problems ever since, including, of course, central canon. He's been working his way through the vast collection of research Lysis left behind. His ingenuity, combined with that logical mind, makes him second to none. I'd better work hard to keep up with him. Well, I suppose I should get back to working on central canon now. I have to make sure it's ready when we need it, right?
Oh, just in time. I'm thinking about putting together a report on the Stia region. See it? It's right over there. Would you mind if I run some of it by you first? All right. Here goes, then. It's a colossal volcanic island located on the other side of Halfiat Lake. We have an advanced team exploring it now, just like Cavaris. Although it's been several years since they first started out, they still haven't been able to make much progress. There are 3 things in their way. First of all, the interior terrain is really rough. Second, many incredibly powerful dolls have been detected in the area. And third, communications between the advanced team and Central City are not going well. The interior of Stia is like a multi-story structure, and the team has seen energy plants in there. They think that dolls production may be going on somewhere in there. Well, we're waiting on a report from the advance team for more details, but communication is slow. The team wants to recon the doll's production site, and even destroy it if at all possible. But Crawford won't authorize the advance team to do that yet. He's saying he thinks it's still too soon. We do need to strengthen the defenses of each region, but we also can't just leave those dolls in Stia to wreak havoc. Both arguments seem equally valid, but we just haven't had the numbers to manage both at the same time. The team in Stia keeps insisting something truly nefarious is going on, but they've been unable to act on it. Those restraints may be released fairly soon. We've been building up cooperation with Retemarks and finally managed to make inroads in Kavaris. The repair of Central Cannon is coming along at a rapid pace, too. And it's all thanks to your help. We have no choice but to start putting more resources into the situation in Stia now. I imagine we'll have difficult battles ahead of us, so we'd better be well prepared. We want to do all we can to help, in whatever way we can. Well, I'll let you know if there are any new developments.
Who's there? Well, fancy seeing you. What are you doing here? I see. I was just collecting some samples here for my research. Actually, I'd like to go to Lost Central too, to continue my research. But Meri and the others yelled at me and told me never to go there alone again. By the way, thank you for rescuing me a while back. There was so much going on, I don't think I ever said thanks. At the time, I had no idea all that stuff was going on outside. Communications were jammed, and there were all those tough dolls roaming around out there. I had some food with me, and there were mountains of research materials I wanted to go through. So I thought I'd just settle in and try to escape when I got the chance. I guess I probably should have left a note, or something. I was reading my grandpa's reports in the Lodge's study, and I came across a description of Central Cannon. Wow, that sounds cool, I thought. And before I knew it, I was on my way. I have a bad habit of losing sight of everything else when I get something in my head that I'm interested in. I need to work on that. But at least it got Central Cannon on the path to repair, right? And I got a good start on exploring Lost Central too, right? So the pros and cons kind of balance out in the end, don't you think? Seriously? Not you too? Meri, really let me have it when I got back to the lodge that day, too. Ever since then, I've made sure to let someone know before I go out anywhere. And I always call if I think I'm going to be late getting home. I try not to go off by myself too much. My siblings used to all kind of do their own thing most of the time. But now they check in with each other more and go out together a lot. Ever since that one incident, I'd say a lot of things have really changed. That's good, right? I plan to start putting even more effort into helping Elio now. I'm going to help with Central Canon development and do everything I can to support them. And then the pros and cons should really balance out, don't you think? Well, I'd better get going. Thank you again. Oh, it's you. I'm just taking care of a little favor for Crawford. Oh, that's right. Do you have a minute? Since we'll be working together going forward, I should probably tell you some things about Crawford and me. Nothing as exciting as all that. As you probably know, my family has never lived anywhere but Kavaris. The only people I ever saw or talked to were my siblings. Every once in a while, some Arcs defenders from Elio would stop by. But just to get directions or to exchange a little bit of news. The only other thing I ever saw was a vast expanse of white. My siblings are all pretty enthusiastic about Grandpa's old dream of reviving Kavaris. But for me, something has always seemed lacking in this kind of life, somehow. And then one day, I was organizing some data at my terminal when I happened to come across a research forum. As I was reading it, some data caught my eye. Come to find out later, it was written by Crawford. I happened to notice some mistakes, so I posted some comments. And the person started hammering me with questions. So, that's how I met Crawford. Well, I say met, but we were more like pen pals. Well, of course I do. Hold on. Do I? I can't seem to remember his face. But wait, we sent our profile pics to each other once. My picture was kind of old. I heard that you used that photo when you were out looking for me. Really? Sorry, you must have had a pretty difficult search then. I know all of us siblings look pretty similar. If we had the same clothes and hair color, you probably couldn't tell us apart. Anyway, getting back to the subject. Even without seeing his face, I can pretty much imagine how he feels just reading his reports. I can tell how passionate he is about a topic, or which areas he struggled with. I feel like we understand each other, even without meeting in person or talking. Even now, we still correspond about technology, mostly by writing. So our relationship has always been somewhere between just plain research partners and real friends. Lately, I've had more chances to correspond with other research scientists too, but their responses are never as quick and accurate as Crawford's. It's really made me realize all over again what an amazing man he is. Hey, don't tell Crawford any of this, okay? He'll get a big head about it. Well, that's it about Crawford and me. I bet a lot of people would think the two of us are kind of weird. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you about it. Well, see you later.
Huh? Are you here doing shopping too? Yes, I came to exchange some of our leftover food. The people here say it helps them out too, getting ingredients they didn't have. I remember this place used to be completely silent and deserted. Sometimes some Ark's defenders from Aelia would come to do some surveying or excavation. But that was really only once in a blue moon. By the time you guys showed up, lots of people were coming here. It was kind of unnerving at first. I mean, I'd never seen so many different people. It wasn't just me either. My siblings always seemed to be on edge too. We were preoccupied with Ilma too. But then things started to settle down a little, and I started having conversations with them. And I came to find out they were all really nice. They'd ask things like, "Do you need anything?" and "Do you have enough food?" Some of them even treated us like their own children. We've always taken care of ourselves completely on our own, so that's what we were used to. But I feel like they taught me what it really means to take care of one another. Our grandpa always used to tell us to take care of each other, of course. But I don't think I really understood what that meant until now. It's not just superficial cooperation. Noticing when the other person is upset, or being able to ask for help when you need it. That's what taking care of one another really means. These kind people, and you three taught me that. Thank you again. I'm really grateful to you for helping us rescue Ilma. Yes, I guess we did. But if that incident had never happened, I think the 5 of us would still just be doing our own thing. Now, we know how to truly take care of each other. And these kind people, too. You too. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to ask. We'll gladly do anything we can to help. Hello, and welcome! What are you up to today? Oh yes, almost 2L actually. Ilma is devoting himself to his research, same as ever. Taivas and Thule are competing over which one can defeat the most enemies. And Kuka often helps me with my work. None of those things have changed. But there are some things that have changed. Kuka goes out to do things with his brothers more often now. He helps Taivas and Thule fight enemies. And he helps Ilma's investigations. I've noticed that Taivas and Thule go out together a lot lately. Before, it always seemed like if one went east, the other one went west. And it feels like they help me with my work more often now, too. Helping me hunt tames or pick fruits and vegetables. I try to help them as much as I can, too. But when Ilma gets talking about his research, it's like he's speaking a foreign language. Speaking of talking, I chat with Aina and Manon a lot more now. Aina tells me about your journey together so far, and her memories of Alio Town. What a terrible thing it is, what happened to her. But she seems to feel comfortable talking to me about it. She says it's because we're both survivors. And that makes me so happy. And then there's Manon, too. She tells me about all kinds of things I'd never heard of, having always lived here in Kavaris. Like different creatures and other environments. She's not as difficult to understand as Ilma, of course, but sometimes I still can't quite keep up. Oh, by the way, do you have a little more time after this? I was hoping you could tell me some of your stories. Oh, wonderful! Let's go back to the lodge to talk then. Just a little more. Oh, I didn't know you were here. Yes, to my parents and my grandpa. But to tell the truth, they were never actually laid to rest here. Not my mother, or my father, or my grandpa. I don't remember my parents very well. We were all so young when that disaster occurred on Mount Latva, and we never saw them again. That's why we were raised by our grandpa. The one who taught us all about how to live in this snow country was our grandpa. But then one night, he went out in a blizzard and never came back. The people of Alio helped us search for him, but we never found any clue about what happened to him. Ever since then, we've had to survive out here, all on our own. The Alio folks recommended we move to Central City. But we had already decided to try and carry out our grandpa's dreams here. And that's how we ended up staying here. But things never really went well for us. Each one of us worked as hard as we could at whatever we were able to do. But we never seemed to mesh with each other emotionally. We fought over our goals and plans a lot. And we never could quite understand what we were doing wrong. And that's the way the years passed. We didn't realize our mistakes until Ilma's disappearance, after the three of you showed up. Thank goodness we don't have to live that way anymore. I'm so glad. Thanks to the three of you, I think we can move forward without repeating the mistakes of our past. Whether it's about Lost Central, or about the enemies you encountered down the road. If you ever need help with anything, just let us know. Because now, it's our turn to help you. There's not much I can do all by myself, of course. But with the 5 of us together, there's nothing we can't do. Now, let me promise you. Here, in front of my grandpa and my parents, I will support you in your battles in every way that I can. You can count on me.
Hey, come over here for a minute. Take a look. The view is beautiful. Every part of Kvaris is so pretty. But when I think about how this view is the result of a fight with Dark Falls, I'm not sure how I should feel. Whew. We're at high altitude. It sure is cold up here. I don't think I could have made it up here without these clothes. Manon was talking about how she can deal with this cold by stimulating her internal photons or something. I'm not so sure about that. It's pretty cold. Oh, I got these from Crawford. Well, I guess it's more accurate to say my dad had them set aside for me. I guess my dad made a bunch of arrangements there, in case anything ever happened to him. He generally was the type to just go with the flow, but I guess he did plan ahead, sometimes. I feel like I'm just now starting to understand some things about him. I guess the fact that he set these clothes aside for me means that he predicted I would come here at some point. He never did teach me much about fighting, but now this makes me wonder if he was planning to get around to it someday. By the way, I notice you always wear whatever you like. Don't you ever get cold? I see. Well, know your limits, I guess. Well, I think I'll look around this area a little bit more before I move on. See you later! Oh, hey! I didn't know you were here. Oh, I'm just about to head over to the lodge. I promised I'd visit Meri. Oh, we sure did. I've been stopping by to hang out ever since we rescued Ilma. For some reason, I felt like I knew Meri from the first moment we met her. I hardly knew any girls around my age until Manon showed up. Basically, Meri and I were raised in totally different environments. And I figured out why when I saw her break up that argument between her brothers. People usually got along pretty well in Alio Town for the most part, but when they would fight, they would get so tangled up in pride and status and saving face that they would never back down. So I would always try to go in and make peace. I guess Meri plays kind of a similar role with her brothers as the one I did. Or like how I was always there to make food for everyone when they would come home tired from fighting. It's nice when people enjoy your cooking, but it's hard when food runs out all the time. And how everyone was always asking me to cook this or that. When I talk to Meri about that kind of thing, she can totally relate. So we've been talking a lot lately because we have so much in common. Would you like to join us? You wouldn't be a bother. But I didn't tell Meri I'd be bringing you along, so maybe it's not such a good idea. Yeah, well, maybe next time. Oh, look at the time. I need to get going. See you later.